We'll get started with Jason Bell from the Winnipeg Free Press. Go ahead, Jason.
Thanks, Gregor. Good morning, Andrew. This has been such a weird season for so many reasons. What do you draw on as far as lesson learned, takeaways from a season like this?
I don't know. I mean, I think you take a lot. I think, as a team, I think you can take away things that we did well, things we need to work on. More playoff experience, kind of maybe how to handle layoffs better. What it takes to win. Consistency. I think you can take a lot of things. You learn a lot throughout the course of a season. You learn a lot about your team. You learn a lot about teammates. You learn a lot about yourself. So I think it's just another year of experience, another year of figuring out what it takes to win. Another year of figuring out what makes your individual game successful. What makes it what helps you in the summer. What you need to do to put yourself in a situation for success, and you learn things not to do as well.
We'll go next to Mike McIntyre from the Winnipeg Free Press. Go ahead, Mike.
Thanks, Gregor. Morning, guys. This is for Nikolaj. It's so hard, of course, in the modern NHL to maybe keep the same core together year after year, just because of salary cap and the economics of the league. Inevitably, teams get asked questions about the core and if it needs to be changed or broken up. What are your thoughts on the core guys? The two of you at the podium are major parts of that. Should this core remain together, and why?
Well, I mean, that's not really my decision to make, but I think we've got a great core. I've been in this league. I've played with these guys for 6 years now, and they're great friends, both on and off the ice. So, you see these guys every single day for 7 months a year, and you have a lot of fun, and you go through a lot of stuff with them. So, these guys are great, and like Copper said before, we learn every single year, and we're going to learn from this year. So, no, I don't think so.
We'll go next to Paul Friesen from the Winnipeg Sun. Go ahead, Paul.
Hey, I'll throw this one at Andrew. There's so many opinions always from the outside, and I'm curious internally, how far does it feel like this team is away from being a contender for the championship that you so badly want?
I don't think we're very far off at all. I think, we, like Nikki said, we believe in our core. I think we had a lot of great pieces in here that, are capable of going all the way. So, obviously there's always changes year to year, and it's just kind of a matter of making the right changes to kind of push us over the top. I think we got to find a way to be a little bit harder to play against, and maybe be more consistent on a night-to-night basis. But I think we got a lot of pieces here for that, and I think our belief is there, and I think that's we have the belief and the talent, and it's just kind of a matter of putting it all together.
We'll go next to Ken Wiebe from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Weber.
Thanks, Gregor. For Andrew, please. We know hockey is a business. How will you look at these contract negotiations, and is a long-term deal a priority for you in your camp?
Yeah, I don't really think anything's off the table at this point. We'll go through those conversations, where they see me, moving forward here, the direction of the team, what we're going to do to make us better, are the two biggest things for me. So I wouldn't say anything's off the table at this point, and I'm sure with everything kind of happening sooner rather than later that that'll get done. That'll get addressed, pretty quickly.
Go next to Murat Atesh from The Athletic. Go ahead, Murat.
Also for Andrew, I remember after your arbitration 2 years ago, you kind of said it wasn't fun, but rest assured you're not going to be gone right away like it happens with some arbitration guys. And here you are. I'm wondering what your perspective is heading into, reflecting back on the 2 years that's been since that time.
Yeah, I mean, looking back, you want to be as much of a priority as possible, right? So like you want to be important to the, not only, on the ice and to the team and everything like that, but off the ice, in the room, leadership, all that stuff. And I feel like over the last 2 years I've, really taken steps from where I was. So, I at the time, I guess, where we were with contracts and, Casey and Patty were still unsigned, and, we still had Buff, and there's, it was a tight cap. So, I can understand, looking back on from their perspective and my own, I wouldn't change a thing. So, yeah, I mean, I'm happy with my development over the course of the last 2 years. And I think that I still have levels to get to. So, I don't think 2 years ago was going to impact, the contract situation this year.
We'll go next to Sean Reynolds from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Sean.
This one's for Andrew. Andrew, I think the outside hockey world mirrors what you guys are saying, and that I think there's a strong belief in this team's core. You touched on getting harder to play against, or some of the pieces that go around. From your idea, what's been missing from this team, from this roster, that's prevented this team from taking the next step?
It's hard to point to, one thing or one position. Hockey is such a fluid game that it's not, there's no one quick fix. There's no one, we get this person in this spot, that's going to be the difference. The game doesn't really work that way. So, at the end of the day, one team wins the Stanley Cup at the end of the year, and that's a hard place to get to. So I think you want to give yourself as many chances as possible at reaching that ultimate goal. And, I thought we were, we did a pretty good job this year, and we put ourselves in a situation where that goal became, in sight. And, obviously we didn't get over the hump, and there's things that we need to work on as a whole. Like I mentioned, being harder to play against, a little bit more consistent. But, like there's no one quick fix. It's just, everyone, taking another step in their individual games, taking another step in our team game, how we work together. Guys, another year of experience, another year of, being mentally stronger, another year of understanding exactly what kind of game it takes to win in the playoffs. So, like I said, there's no one quick fix. It's, it's a totality of actions. And, I think that, we're on the right path with, a majority of the things that need to be in place for us to win.
We'll go back to Sean Reynolds for a follow-up. Go ahead, Sean.
This one's for Nick. Nick, after seasons like this, there's always going to be questions about what needs to change. I guess I'd probably just asked one. But, having to do with the coaches, the GMs, all those kind of things. I'm interested on your take on Paul Maurice and why you think he's the right guy for this team. But also, I mean, what you think in the big, giant step you took this year in your career, the role he's played on getting you to the player that you are now.
I mean, he's been the coach since I came in. It's very unusual, even in Europe, to have the same coach for that long. But it just shows what kind of coach and what kind of guy Paul is. I think everyone on the team is very happy with the way he coaches us, and not just the on ice stuff, but the off ice stuff too. He's a guy you can go talk to when something's up, and there's always something with the on ice stuff that he's got for you. whether it's good or bad. So, and that goes for the whole coaching staff. They're great at finding small things that they can help you with, whether they do video or it's on ice. They pull you aside. So I think that's been huge for me to work on the small details of the game. And yeah, that's been great.
Just a few more for the guys. We'll go next to Jason Bell from the Free Press. Go ahead, Jason.
Thanks, Gregor. This one's for Nikolaj. This was a short season by regular standards, and yet in that truncated season, there was a whole lot of highs and lows. What do you attribute that to? Is it because it was just such a weird season? I mean, pandemic all around us, no fans, playing the same teams over and over. How do you kind of view the last sort of 4.5, 5 months?
It was obviously very different. You miss the fans. I mean, even getting into the building here in game one against Montreal, and there were 500 fans. It felt like a lot more because you haven't played with any fans this whole season. You travel to the same places, but then again, it's still just hockey. You're still playing a game. It doesn't matter who you're playing against. We're professionals. Yes, it has been different, but it has been a lot of fun. Playing against the same guys, same teams, 3-4 games in a row in a regular season. You kind of get closer to that playoff type hockey during the regular season. So I think it was a lot of fun, and obviously it's going to be different next year. And but I think everyone in this league did a really good job at figuring it out and making it work for us and making it as easy as possible for us. So yeah, I think we're happy with it.
We'll go next to Ken Weeb from Sportsnet. Go ahead, Weber.
Nikolaj, what can you tell us about the exact nature of your injury and how close were you to 100%?
I was 100%. Let's put it that way. I mean, it was a shoulder injury and a first rib injury. I'm not exactly sure how much I'm allowed to say, but I
think you're good.
Right?
Yeah.
I had a posterior labrum tear in my shoulder that I've had for a while. That's nothing new, but it has gotten a little bit worse. So, and then I got a first rib cartilage fracture. So, but I felt good. It just took a little longer than expected, unfortunately.
And final question to Paul Friesen from The Sun. Go ahead, Paul.
Just to follow up with Andrew, you mentioned that goal of winning the Cup became in sight this year. What is kind of the bare minimum to get to for this core of players? Where should you guys be getting every year based on what you have? Is it making the playoffs? Is it winning around? Or?
Well, I mean, I think it's hard to say year to year, I think, this is the 4th year in a row we've made the playoffs now. And the team has changed significantly since the first time that we made the playoffs. So, it's hard to say, but I think, I think we should be in that conversation of the last 8, we should, last year, obviously a bit of a weird situation going into the bubble. We dealt with injuries all year. It felt like the whole, losing Buff in the beginning of the season, Scheif getting hurt in the playoffs, a combination of things kind of, maybe derailed us. And then, this year end up losing Scheif again, Stas out for a few games, Nicky's not fully healthy apparently. And, losing to Melos. I mean, this group should get, obviously into the playoffs and, anything can happen after that. But, we feel like, especially if we're able to, make some improvements and continue to get better as a team, we should be, hitting that last 8, and then kind of anyone can win from there.
Thanks very much, guys.